In the beginning, there was only God, the creator of the universe, and he was surrounded by a multitude of angels, each with their own unique role and purpose. Among these angels was Lucifer, the most beautiful and charismatic of them all, often referred to as the morning star. Lucifer was created to be a shining example of God's splendor and glory, and he was given the privilege of being in the presence of God at all times. As time passed, Lucifer began to develop a sense of pride and self-importance, and he started to feel that he was equal to God. He believed that he had the power and the wisdom to rule the universe on his own, without the need for God's guidance or supervision. This sense of pride and arrogance slowly consumed Lucifer, and he started to gather a following of angels who were also dissatisfied with their roles in heaven. Together, they began to conspire against God, planning a rebellion that would allow them to take control of the universe and rule with their own power. The Bible tells us that Lucifer was a beautiful and magnificent creature, with a voice like a cherub and a presence that shone like the brightest star. But despite his outward beauty, Lucifer's heart was filled with pride and a desire for power, and he began to use his charm and charisma to deceive and manipulate the other angels. He promised them that if they joined him in his rebellion, they would be given power and authority beyond their wildest dreams, and they would be able to rule the universe as they saw fit. As Lucifer's following grew, so did his ambition, and he began to see himself as a rival to God. He believed that he had the power to overthrow God and take his place as the ruler of the universe. But God, being all-knowing and all-powerful, was aware of Lucifer's plans and was not afraid of him. In fact, God had already foreseen the rebellion and had a plan in place to deal with it. The Bible tells us that God is not a God of confusion, but of peace, and he will not be threatened by the plans of Lucifer or any other creature. The day of the rebellion finally arrived, and Lucifer and his followers launched a full-scale attack on God and the loyal angels. But despite their best efforts, they were no match for the power of God. The Bible tells us that God is a consuming fire, and that he will not be defeated by any creature. Lucifer and his followers were quickly defeated, and they were cast out of heaven, sent to the earth to roam and to cause chaos and destruction. The fall of Lucifer was a traumatic event, not just for the angels who were involved, but for the entire universe. It marked the beginning of a new era, an era of darkness and sin, and it set the stage for the ultimate battle between good and evil. The Bible tells us that Lucifer, now known as Satan, is a roaring lion, seeking to devour and destroy all that is good and righteous. But it also tells us that God is still in control, and that he has a plan to redeem and restore the universe to its former glory. The story of Lucifer's fall is a reminder to us all of the dangers of pride and ambition. It shows us that when we allow ourselves to become consumed by our own desires and ego, we can quickly become deceived and manipulated by the enemy. But it also reminds us of the power and the love of God, and of his desire to redeem and restore us, even in the midst of our sin and rebellion. As we reflect on the story of Lucifer's fall, we are reminded of the importance of humility and obedience. We are reminded that our role is to serve and to worship God, and not to try to take his place or to usurp his power. We are also reminded of the importance of community and fellowship, and of the need to surround ourselves with people who will support and encourage us in our walk with God. The story of Lucifer's fall is also a reminder to us of the reality of spiritual warfare. It shows us that there is a real and ongoing battle between good and evil, and that we are all involved in it, whether we realize it or not. But it also reminds us that God is our protector and our defender, and that he has given us the power and the authority to overcome the enemy and to emerge victorious. As we consider the story of Lucifer's fall, we are also reminded of the importance of forgiveness and redemption. We are reminded that even in the midst of our sin and rebellion, God is still willing to forgive and to restore us, if we will only turn to him and seek his mercy. We are also reminded that God is a God of second chances, and that he is always willing to give us another opportunity to make things right and to start anew. The story of Lucifer's fall is a complex and multifaceted one, and it has been the subject of much debate and discussion over the centuries. Some have seen it as a cautionary tale, warning us of the dangers of pride and ambition. Others have seen it as a reminder of the power and the love of God, and of His desire to redeem and restore us. But regardless of how we interpret the story, one thing is clear. It is a reminder to us all of the importance of living a life of humility, obedience, and surrender to God. As we come to the end of this story, we are reminded of the importance of applying its lessons to our own lives. We are reminded that we are all susceptible to the dangers of pride and ambition, and that we must be careful to avoid the pitfalls of Lucifer's fall. We are also reminded of the importance of seeking God's guidance and wisdom, and of trusting in His power and His love to overcome the challenges and the temptations that we face. In conclusion, the story of Lucifer's fall is a powerful and thought-provoking one, and it has much to teach us about the nature of God, the dangers of pride and ambition, and the importance of humility and obedience. As we reflect on this story, we are reminded of the importance of living a life of surrender and trust in God, and of seeking His guidance and wisdom in all that we do. We are also reminded of the reality of spiritual warfare and of the need to be vigilant and to trust in God's power and protection. If you have been inspired or challenged by this story, we encourage you to take a moment to reflect on its lessons and to consider how you can apply them to your own life. We also invite you to like and subscribe to our channel, as we seek to explore more stories and themes from the Bible and to apply their lessons to our everyday lives. And if you have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to share them with us. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to sharing more stories and insights with you in the future. Remember, the Bible is a book that is full of life and wisdom, and it has the power to transform and to redeem us, if we will only take the time to read it and to apply its lessons to our lives. So let us seek to delve deeper into its pages and to discover the many wonders and treasures that it contains.